this is a video. Now, I missed this. This actually came out a little while ago. It may have come out like 2 weeks ago or something like that. I'd heard like chatter of this, but I hadn't seen the video until recently. There's this South Carolina Republican by the name of Neil Collins, Representative Neil Collins, and he voted for an anti-abortion bill prior to the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And this is amazing. Here you're going to see a guy who has actually thought about his actions, seen the results of his vote come to fruition, and he appears to have a genuine moment of remorse and regret and like, holy cow, did I get this one wrong? So let's watch, and we will break it down as we go here.
I voted for the pain-capable bill, the fetal heartbeat bill, and fetal heartbeat has been for 6 weeks now. The second week that the fetal heartbeat bill became law, a doctor called me out of Anderson. I live in Easley. A 19-year-old girl appeared at the ER. She was 15 weeks pregnant. Her water broke. And the fetus was unviable. The standard of care was to advise her that they could extract or she could go home. The attorneys told the doctors that because of the fetal heartbeat bill, because that 15-week-old had a heartbeat, the doctors could not extract. So their only choices were to admit the 19-year-old until that fetal heartbeat stopped. I asked, how long does it take to stop? She said seconds, minutes, hours, maybe days. Or discharge. They discharged that 19-year-old. The doctor told me at that point, there's a 50% chance. Well, first, she's going to pass this fetus in the toilet. She's going to have to deal with that on her own. There's a 50% chance, greater than 50% chance that she's going to lose her uterus. There's a 10% chance that she will develop sepsis and herself die. That weighs on me. I voted for that bill. These are affecting people, and we're having a meeting about this. It took that whole week. I did not sleep.
So when he voted on that bill, it was prior to Roe versus Wade. So here's what that means. That bill was effectively a virtue signal bill, because even though the states can pass whatever legislation they want, but there's this little part of the Constitution called the Supremacy Clause, which means that federal law overrides state law, and the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, right? So if the federal law or the Constitution says this is the way it needs to be, the state laws are effectively null and void. So let me give you an example. There's still anti-sodomy laws on the books in some states. Anti-sodomy is like oral and anal sex. It's still illegal in certain states to do oral or anal, but those laws are totally unenforced because under federal law, it's legal. That stuff is legal, or under the interpretation of the Supreme Court, you basically have a right to do that if you want to do that, right? So under Roe versus Wade, it didn't matter that some Republican states had an abortion ban at 6 weeks or a total abortion ban or whatever, because the framework laid out by Roe versus Wade and then later slightly changed, tweaked under Casey, is that, look, in the first trimester, you have a total right to an abortion. None of the government's business. You do exactly what you want to do. In the second trimester, you still have a right to an abortion, but the states are allowed to do some health regulations around it. And then in the third trimester, if states want, they could ban late-term abortion. That was the framework for Roe. And effectively, that is the law of the land in all 50 states, regardless of how primitive and retrograde and regressive the laws are that they want to pass around abortion. So this guy, clearly he's an intelligent guy. He's not a dumb guy, and he knows when he voted for the bill he voted for that it doesn't matter right now. So I can virtue signal to my Republican voters and say, yeah, okay, I'm pro-life here. But after Roe versus Wade got overturned, now these things he voted for effectively become law in South Carolina. And he's having doctors call him and tell him, well, here's what logically follows now after you pass these laws. Here's the end result of this actually being the law. And you hear these nightmare stories. And we got similar ones from all around the country. Remember the one that came out of Ohio? There was a 10-year-old rape victim, and they were denied an abortion, and you had... The right was just denying that the story was real, and then the police arrested that rapist, and the story was completely real. You have a 16-year-old in Florida who a court said, you're not mature enough to make a decision to abort the baby. So you can't abort the baby, you can't abort the fetus, but you can raise a child? You're mature enough to raise a child, but not go through the procedure. And then there's the story out of Louisiana we covered. A skullless fetus. A woman is being forced to carry a skullless fetus to term because the skullless fetus syndrome is not on the list of things that are approved for them to do the procedure. There's even states that are trying to make this distinction between life of the mother or health of the mother. Yes, if the life of the mother is threatened, we'll allow an abortion. But if it's just the health of the mother, that's a different story and we won't allow that. So in other words, if it's like a very high likelihood you're going to die, maybe we'll allow it. But if there's like a 50-50 chance, well, suck it up. You might survive. So you're going to be forced to carry the baby to term. This is what we're talking about here. This is what we're talking about. This is these policies in real life. And this guy's haunted by the vote that he cast because now it is impacting people in a horrendous and negative way. And it's rare you get these moments of self-reflection. It is. But look, I want to give the guy credit, probably does deserve some credit, but also you have to stop and think and realize, like, well, a lot of these people might also be trying to save their political ass, too. They might be doing that because the polls on abortion are not close. Not remotely close. People are on the side of Roe versus Wade. They are on the side of the Democrats. They are on the side of allow abortion with some regulations. And the Republicans are not. I mean, Mike Pence was talking about we should do a total national abortion ban in every state. So there will be no states that are safe havens like New York or California. Nope. Get rid of it everywhere. That's what they want. That's what they want. And so at least some of them are expressing regret. And it's understandable because how many lives are they ruining as a result of this? And how many lives are they endangering as a result of this? And all because in some instances they want to pretend like a zygote or a gamete is equal to, a full human being, American citizen with constitutional rights. It's just not true. And I think this guy now realized that. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.